Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. It starts for Florida on the ground. That's where they want to start. That's where they were pretty good last year, and they felt like they were going to build their team around that this year. And it hasn't really worked out that way. They're 10th in the league in rush offense, which is not very good for a team with returning backs like Trevor Etienne and Montrell Johnson, and a quarterback they brought in from Wisconsin. And what do Wisconsin quarterbacks do? They hand the ball off, establish the running game, and then they can complete some passes over the top. Etienne this year, 88 carries for 529 yards. He's averaging 6 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. He was great in the game against Tennessee. Really good. You fire up YouTube and check that game out. He's tough to tackle. He shows some speed. Like, he was good in that game. Montrell Johnson is the other piece to this running puzzle. 106 carries, so 20 more carries for Montrell Johnson. 555 yards, just over 5 yards per carry. Their stats are eerily similar. It's 18 more carries for Johnson. It's 26 more yards for Johnson, and their TD numbers are the same. They want to feature both of those guys. And when they have, and it's worked, their offense has been good. They ran for 183 yards on Tennessee, and they controlled that game. They ran for 215 yards on Vandy, and as you would expect, they controlled that game. When they don't run it as well, they really struggle. They didn't run it at all against Kentucky. 69 yards rushing on 2.4 yards per carry. And they scored 14 points. They tried to run it 25 times on Georgia. They ran it for about 4 yards per carry, and they ended with 20 points. That's where they want to be. But more often than they'd like, it's fallen back on Graham Mertz. And at times, he's responded. They couldn't run it at all in the game against South Carolina, 2.2 yards per carry. But Mertz threw for 423 yards. Against Arkansas, he threw for 282 and 3 touchdowns. Napier prefers to do this thing on the ground. If you watch Florida, they've spread the field. They do a lot of eye candy, a lot of motions. There's some ball handling in the backfield, and they try to get some offensive linemen out in front. It's a running game with a lot of creativity and moving pieces, and that's what they want to do first. And if they can, that makes things a lot easier on them. And unfortunately for LSU, teams can against LSU. It's just the fact of the matter. LSU's run defense has just not held up really any. They're 13th in the league, just in front of Vanderbilt. They give up 171 yards per game on 5 yards per carry. Some of that's come via Jalen Milroe in the quarterback run. Some of that's come via Jackson Dart on the quarterback run. Some of it's come on the ground. You saw Quinshon Judkins go nuts. Alabama's running backs had a solid go of it last week, even though they're not uber talented. Florida State's running backs got things rolling a little bit. And we thought that LSU defensively was going to be better against the run than the pass. You looked at that defensive front and you said, well, you got Mekhi Wingo coming back and he's an all-league type player. You got Mason Smith healthy and ready to go. He's a difference maker. You bring in some guys who are veterans on the edges who haven't been great pass rushers in their day, but they're older players. They're veterans. They're physical. Ovie Ogofu and Braden Swinson, they should be able to hold up on the edges. Omar Spates was a tackling machine last year at Oregon State. Harold Perkins moving to the inside to play linebacker. He's a freak athlete. He's going to make a ton of tackles. And it looked on paper like, okay, this is a good run defense. It is not. And my fear is that tomorrow, Florida gets cooking on the ground, and then they open everything up. And Mertz has been good. He leads the SEC in completion percentage. He threw for 423 against South Carolina. Against Vanderbilt, 30 of 36 for 254 and 3 touchdowns. Last week, as I mentioned, 282 and 3 touchdowns against Arkansas. He's functional back there. And Brian Kelly was asked yesterday about kind of preparing for Graham Mertz and what kind of challenge that veteran quarterback would present.
The offense fits him very well. He's completing at about a 75% clip. He just looks comfortable back there within the structure of the offense, and he's been really good this year.
As much as I wanted this morning to sit here and go, man, at home I think they're a little bit better, I just couldn't get there. I could not arrive at that conclusion. I think Auburn bites on offense. I think Arkansas bites on offense. And Florida, while not great, does not bite on offense. So somehow, some way, LSU is going to have to find a way to make 4 or 5 plays. I've come off the just be mediocre. Just be mediocre, and the offense will save you. How many times have we said that over the last 2 months? Just be average. They're not. They're never going to be average for the next 3 weeks, and whatever bowl game they play in, they will not be average. They will be decidedly below average every time they take the field, because that's who they are. You're not, to use a very poor pun, changing your stripes as Tigers here over the last 3 games. But you can make a couple of plays. There was an opportunity last week to make a play. Milroe threw a lollipop on the hash, and the safety came over and whiffed it. You got to make that play. Florida may bust a blocking assignment, and you may get a free rusher. You got to make that play in the backfield. If there's a loose ball, don't try to pick it up and run. Fall on it. Go for the strip if you've got a guy secured and can lawnmower it. Like, I've completely abandoned be mediocre. Not in the cards. Make 5 plays. Give me 3 sacks, an interception, and a 4th down and inches stop, and we'll call it a day. Tell the offense, go out there, score 45. And they can, and they probably will. But that's where I am. I don't know where Brian Kelly is, and I don't know where Matt House is, and I don't know what Kerry Cooks and Robert Steeples are telling their guys, and I don't know what Pete Jenkins can say. I don't know what the message is in the building. It certainly isn't, you guys stink, go do 4 things right in 4 quarters, clearly. But you worry about psyche and confidence and all that kind of stuff after you just continue to get absolutely roasted week after week. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.